What's the word, YouTube? LTH coming at you with a video. 713 Space City, we up in the building. All right, week 15 is here. Arizona is coming to Houston this week. And of course, Houston currently holds the 7th seed in the playoffs race. You know, and, the playoff push continues. And let's get on with this video. So, coming off a huge primetime win last week, Houston looks to, continue their winning streak to 6 games. And if they want to do that, they got to continue handling business one game at a time. And of course, defense is going to definitely be the key to their winning streak being extended to 6 games. But, if they want to do that, offense, has to play a lot better, compared to how they fared, last week against the Chiefs. So, I will say this, this does look like it could be a trap game. As they say, anything goes, and any game could be considered a trap game. And not to mention, the team that's not playing for anything, can always turn out to be the most dangerous team. So it's a must that Houston must not overlook the Arizona Cardinals, let alone take them lightly. Because if Houston were to overlook and take the Cardinals lightly, then Arizona won't hesitate to rightfully make them pay. So if Houston wants to continue that winning streak, simple. Take the Cardinals very seriously on both sides of the football. Because as I said, as a fan, take no team lightly, no matter how bad they are. So if they want to win this game, their characteristic disciplined football is gonna be key. No mental mistakes. No turnovers. No committed turnovers by Houston. It's part of giveaways. Winning the time of possession, and of course, red zone offense. Got to be on point for sure. I mean, it does seem like a get right game for the offense, but not to mention, not even get right games are guaranteed in the NFL. Because compared to college, the NFL is very much an animal. So I'm gonna start with the offense on what they need to do. I mean, yeah, despite their record, Arizona do happen to have some, pretty good players on that team. And of course, Buda Baker is one of them, along with, Josh Sweat, who's pretty underrated, you know, a Super Bowl champion at that, and Josh Sweat, who was on that 2024 Eagles team. I mean, not sure what other players they got, but Buda Baker, he's still a dog, on that defense. So Nick Chubb is questionable for this game. It'd be nice if he could play, but if not, Woody Marks, we're going to have to carry the load if it means getting him involved. So for the offense, avoid, pre-snap penalties, mistake-free football, consistently move the ball, plus scoring touchdowns, more touchdowns than field goals. And of course, I said this before, Nick Caley got to open up that damn playbook, because the last thing he wants to be doing is, taking the Arizona Cardinals defense lightly. Josh Sweat, like I just mentioned, and Buda Baker, he is a dog. I mean, I ain't paid, could have looked at, what other players who I could watch out for, but, but like I just mentioned, Arizona does got some pretty good players on that team. Stroud, has got to play, because last time Stroud faced off against the Arizona and the Texans faced off against the Arizona Cardinals, which was 2 years back. Stroud happened to have threw three second half interceptions in that game, in which they won 21-16. So, for 60 minutes, Stroud, is going to have to play hell of a lot better compared to that second half in 2023. Last time he and the Texans played the Cardinals. So, gotta avoid another outing with 3 picks this go around versus the Cards. Ball security, pocket awareness, you know, and yes, he's going to have to hit on, to have a chance to sustain drives. Stroud has got to hit on every target that he finds open, including Dalton Schultz, Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, Dalton Schultz. Hell, even Woody Marks and Cade Stover, get those guys involved in the pass game. And, you know, like I just mentioned, don't commit dumb penalties that'll hold the offense back. And of course, the O-line want to play a lot better too, and run and pass blocking if it helps, keeping the chains moving in more ways than you think. So, gotta sustain the run though, making the pass game easier. A lot more easier if it means wearing down opposing offenses. Opposing defenses. Keeping them on their heels and keeping them honest at the same time. So, yeah, field goals are a part of the game, but hey, need more than field goals. Need more 7s than 3s, which would help as the game progresses. Now, as far as the defense goes on for the Texans, yes, it's unfortunate that they don't have Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jacoby Brissett. Yeah, he's had a history of playing well versus the Texans. And yeah, he's been pretty solid filling in for Kyler Murray. But, and they got a pretty solid running back in James Conner, if I'm not mistaken, along with Trey McBride, who is indeed a baller. Dude can play ball, by the way. But Houston has to get after the quarterback, starting with their pass rush. Their vicious pass rush, led by Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. If it means creating a lot havoc and sacks. For sure. Yeah, I would like to see some of the D-line get sacks as well, such as, Mario Edwards Jr., Sheldon Rankins, even Tommy Togai. And though it would be nice if, Fatu Kasi could play as well, along with Jimmy Ward, considering how thin the Texans are in secondary. It'd be nice if Houston, sign a free agent safety that's out there, waiting for their time, waiting to be signed. Because I'll admit, Houston could use some secondary depth as well. As good as, Jalen Petrie has been, Kamari Lass and Kalen Bullock, but secondary can pretty much use some depth as well. Because that's going to be my main worry going into this game. Even if it's the Arizona Cardinals, it's going to be the one I'm going to be paying attention to the most. But not to mention, got to get after the quarterback, force turnovers, force fumble. Hell, gotta, secure interceptions as well, which starts with forcing Jacoby Brissett into some bad throws and tough throws, making him get rid of the ball quick and making Brissett beat you with his arm. But, got to sustain defensive drives too, getting off the field fast and often, which which will lead to them giving the Texans chances to put points on the board consistently. I mean, I know Nick Cayley hasn't been the best first year play caller, and I know the offense, eh, eh, pretty mid at best. But like I just mentioned, the defense is gonna be the reason. The reason the defense's running game is gonna be the key in this game. Hell, even the remainder of the season going forward. As they continuously look to, keep the playoff hopes alive. So hell, it'd be nice if Jimmy Ward could play too. You know, play in this, which would help out in secondary depth. But shit, you know, nothing is guaranteed, to be honest. So defense got continue doing their thing. I mean, I already know that they got the number one ranked defense, so they got to continue playing like it. You know, giving opposing offenses hell. And of course, you want to stop the run as well, because stopping the run and eliminating big plays through the ground and air definitely important. Make them earn it. Make them earn every yard. You know, don't hand it to them on a silver platter. Make them earn it. Make them earn every yard, and along with making them earn every point, because you don't want to just hand them touchdowns and big plays on a silver platter, to be exact. So, impact players on offense and defense got to do their thing for sure. Though I also would like to see the supporting cast do their thing too on both offense and defense on both sides of the ball. So, yeah, the secondary is what I'm going to keep an eye on, since they're thin at secondary depth. And of course, the linebackers want to do their thing too. You know, making sure, Cardinals are not gaining any big plays through the ground and air for sure. The linebackers got to do their thing too. It's knowing that Cesar Shire is the leader in that linebacking core. But it's gonna be even the rotational players I would like to see get involved as well. Fill in consistently just fine. Of course, special teams, special teams gotta be on point too. You know, make them, give them the long field, not the short field, for sure. So, want to make sure the special teams is on point too in this game. You know, and yeah, the key to winning this game, taking the Cardinals seriously. You know, take the Cardinals seriously. Red zone scoring, which I'm gonna be paying attention to, see how they fare in the red zone, and of course seeing how the offense is gonna fare. In the third quarter this time around, because that third quarter last week was pretty horrendous on offense. So offense, gotta it's a must that the offense must take as much pressure off the defense as possible. Because one thing I always hate, no matter how good a defense is, can't just depend on the defense almost every game and expect to win. Especially the fact that defense happen to give offense opportunities to put up points when it matter. So a fast start, a fast and strong finish for the offense will be key for the Texans. So gotta put points on that board. They'll go up by at least 2 or more touchdowns, take as much pressure off that defense as possible. So they can get the little and the big things right, There's no excuse to why they don't win this game. Because like I said, there is a chance that this could end up being a trap game. But like I mentioned, long as they take the Cardinals serious, this team will be all right. So I just want to put my 2 cents in on this Week 15 preview. That's about all I got. Lord Houston checking on up out of here. 713 Space City. Let's go Houston Texans. Let's move to 9-5 Sunday. Peace.